It's harvest time. It has already been a couple of months since I brought y'all along and we planted my spring garden. And the time has finally come for me to reap the benefits of all my efforts. And y'all know I had to bring y'all along. My name is Drea. I am here in the Houston metro area on the Texas Gulf Coast on the border of zone 9A and 8B, where it is currently 90 plus degrees. So let's go. I am so excited because I came out and a lot of blackberries are ready for picking. And this is my first year of having a true bumper crop of blackberries. Last year, the Primoganes did produce fruits. It wasn't that much, and what they did produce, the birds got them. And so this year, I did actually net them, and they are just doing fabulously. And so we're gonna pick those. Did you just burrow you a little hole there near my blackberry plants, Ritz? This is the damage that little one did. He literally burrowed away for him to like lay down and expose my blackberry root plant. So I think he's staked this as his garden spot. It's shaded, I get it. It's hot outside. But you can't be messing up the blackberries, Ritzy. But I love you, so it's okay. I feel like you really don't care, even if it wasn't. I feel like you're owning it. You aren't ashamed. You didn't try to run. I can appreciate that. So we have officially harvested our first flush of ripened blackberries for the season. I feel like if I were to get this from the store, like organic blackberries, this many, this is probably no lie, like $50 worth of blackberries. And I don't even think I paid that much for like a single blackberry plant. I think they were like, oh, less than $20. Worth it. Over here is an experiment. I'm doing a bunch of experiments with potatoes, but I had some leftover straw, and so I decided to try the Ruth Stout method of growing potatoes, which is where you surface sow potatoes on top of fertile soil, and then instead of burying it, you just top it off with straw, and it's supposed to like be the best thing ever. I honestly have not heard this being successful for anyone that lives in a warmer climate. I've seen this work well in gardens that are more temperate and cooler. But also when I've seen the people that have done it in warmer climates, it doesn't seem like they've done it right. So I decided to just try it myself since I had extra seed potatoes and extra straw. And so we'll see what we get. And here we have my chart that y'all, I cannot keep up with this plant. Like, I have hacked this up almost till it's like bare. And each time it just multiplies and multiplies in size. It looks like I didn't do anything to it. But like I said, this is a great plant, a great green, especially if you live somewhere warm. This tolerates heat well here. It does slow down a bit during the summer, but it still puts out, and it tolerates our cold just fine. So this is all charred, y'all. And then over here, I have my strawberries, which I have been picking to kind of get them before the bugs get them. These are second year plants, and I find that strawberries do better during their second year. As you can see, the fruits are like larger compared to how they were last year. They were very tiny. I'm gonna pick this one. This is like perfect. This is some borage. That's bee crack. But I love growing borage. It is also edible. I never have tried it actually. It's edible. People say it has a cucumber taste, but I don't like cucumbers unless they're pickled, so I've never been motivated to actually try them. I grow them because they are a favorite of the bees, and they're also a host plant for a particular butterfly or moth. I can't remember the name of it. I will put it on the screen. And I just think they're gorgeous to look at. These are beautiful. And then this is basil that reseeded itself from last year. Basil is literally like a weed here, which is a weed that I do not mind having. It is everywhere. You can also see it growing on my ground floor here. There's some there, but I don't mind because I love basil. And this is like my in-ground kind of situation that I actually got from the Growing in the Garden channel with Angela. I got the idea. She actually does some in-ground vermicomposting, so with her worms. I was inspired by that, so I went to the dollar store and actually got this trash bin and buying some worms from a local worm farm. And what I do is I put the bedding at the bottom, which is usually either dry leaves or shredded paper, like cardboard and things like that. Then I put my worms in, and then I put some food scraps on top, and then I covered them with this straw. And that's worked out pretty well. It has eroded quite a bit, so I need to add some more food scraps. But so far, it's working out really well. And the plant actually ended up planting this tomato next to it, and it is very green. It is getting all the nutrients, I think, from the worm castings, which is just worm poop, which is right next to this plant. So really love this idea. I'll probably incorporate this in more beds in the future. So I have already over the past week been harvesting from this plant, and this is a Cherokee carbon, and I don't know who it was, but I remember someone saying that these weren't that productive, and so they didn't really grow them. I found the opposite to be true. Like, this plant has been putting out so much so that the weight of the fruit actually broke the stem, it healed over, and continue to put out more fruit. And this is just one little area of the plant. Like, there are tomatoes, like clusters, all throughout here. Let me get to this side. Like, look at this, y'all. Like, all throughout. I will say something I did this year with my tomatoes, which seems to be pretty effective this year, knock on dirt, but they are all sandwiched in between herbs, like every turn. There's rosemary there. I think that's hyssop. I've got society garlic, basil. There are some spring onions over there, and then under here I have this ground cover of oregano. And I have had minimal pest pressure. And so I think that might be a practice I do from here on out. So these ones here are actually new to me. I've never grown this variety before. And these are the Bumblebee. They're cherry tomatoes. They are quite large for a cherry tomato. So really excited. So There's actually nothing wrong with these leaves, but they are starting to lighten up a bit. They're not as green as I would like them to be. And that's because as the plant has put on all of this beautiful green growth, it has started to deplete the soil of nitrogen. And so to help with that, I'm just going to apply an organic liquid fertilizer. I'm going to use fish fertilizer, which is a 511. Here's a Roselle hibiscus we planted about a week ago. It is already probably tripled in size. As a reminder for me, last year my Roselle hibiscus got 10 feet wide and almost 6 feet tall. So yeah, it's really putting out the growth. Like, it was in a container. I started this from seed and it really wasn't doing anything. And as soon as I put it in its final resting place, it has exploded in growth. And it is next to my walking onions, which are walking this year. I learned that they don't walk the first year. They start walking the second year. So excited about that. And then just some random other stuff we have around here, but really excited. I will bring y'all along because I want to show you all how I make my Roselle jam. So that won't be till fall. And this is a random pineapple top that I planted from a pineapple from the grocery store. I actually have several in the refrigerator I need to plant, and it has started to put on new growth. So really excited. This will be my first time growing pineapple. From what I heard, it takes 2 years to actually grow, and I think you only get like one fruit. So I'm only just doing this when I buy pineapple. I'm just going to be planting them just sort of as an afterthought, but really excited about that. And my kale is kaling along. This is one that I keep picking and it just grows and grows. And I feel like every time I pick it, the leaves grow. They're bigger, even bigger than the last flush. Like, this is literally huge. It's larger than my hand. So I'm not complaining because I do eat quite a bit of kale. And here is another variety of kale here, but I planted these in the fall and they have just trucked along. Here we have some rosemary. Rosemary just, no matter where I plant it, it just takes off. It does very well here. Here is kind of my like failure. So if you remember, this was where I had wintered over my eggplants, and every time it grew, something ate it and chopped it off. And like, it did it like 5 or 6 times. And then finally, I think the eggplant was like, I give up, and it died back. So I do need to plant another eggplant because that is one of the plants that thrives in the heat when a lot of other things will die back, at least in the Texas heat. In case y'all are wondering what this is. So what I do, this is sort of my pollinator water bath / drinking fountain. So it's just a planting kind of saucer. I put some gravel in it and then I'll fill it up with water. And I do it this way because with the gravel and just the heat, it'll evaporate so mosquitoes and things can't lay their larvae in here. But it allows me to provide water. And this is my Tom. There's so many to cut. There's quite a bit of spiders in here, but the yellowing parts I need to cut off. But overall, my thyme has done fabulous. Got some random lettuce and another thyme plant that is doing fabulous. ton of rain lately, so much so like last week I think it rained almost every day, and so I wasn't able to get in my garden and actually like care for things. Squash is a tricky one because we have such high pest pressure. We have a high population of squash vine borers, squash bugs, leaf-footed bugs, cucumber beetles, flea beetles, all the things. Usually at a certain point, I just pull it all up. Yeah, it just is really difficult to grow in our area through the warmer months. So last year I had a really good experience growing a lot of my summer squash actually in the fall time when pest pressure is just generally a lot less. This has reminded me why I did that, and will likely continue to do that year after year. These are the dreaded squash bug eggs, and I had no shortage of them in my garden. They're usually brownish, reddish / coppery in color, and they're usually laid in clusters as opposed to the squash vine borer eggs, which do look a bit similar to the squash bug eggs. However, they're more reddish and they tend to lay their eggs individually, which makes it hard to find them all and, get rid of them. However, either way, I use tape to remove the eggs from my squash plants, and then I just simply squash them. So this is another chaos gardening area of my garden. It's a bit of a construction zone. I'm trying to kill off all the grass and weeds over here so that I can create another area of the garden. But as you can see, dill readily reseeds itself all throughout my garden. You can see all these gorgeous dill flowers. And so it almost acts like a weed. I mean, it is called dill weed for good reason. But I'm gonna harvest all these, as well as some of the ones that I know have gone to seed already, and freeze dry it to use for when I make my pickles. So I think Mother Nature is telling me to call it quits for today because it is starting to rain and the battery on my mic went out. So hopefully y'all can hear me, but I'm going to show you a B-roll of all we harvested today at the end of this video. If you have not already seen the video where we actually started this garden, where have you been? I'm going to link it below. Y'all already know the deal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And remember, every black thumb ripens to green, and it all just starts with a seed.